Hello everyone, welcome back to GamEmporium. I wanted to touch up on a couple of things, or at least one thing here. I'm going to talk about how powerful the Nintendo NX I think is going to be. First, let's take a look at a few things. At the Nintendo Investor Conference, Kimishima said that they have a core technology to run VR, and we'll be looking into it. Well, I decided to take it upon myself a little bit to do a little bit of research on this subject and what that kind of meant. And I decided let's take a look at the minimal requirements of virtual reality. So let's take a quick look. So far the video card is, at least in a PC world, the video card is like a minimal requirement of like a GTX 1070, which is way too expensive. It's like an $800 card, between 6 and 8. The GTX 970, still a little bit too expensive. The GTX Titan or greater. And then on the AMD side, we have the RX 480, the R9 390, and the R9 290 or greater. Any of those video cards has to be basically a minimal requirement for the VR to even work. Okay. Then we're going to look at the CPU. The CPU is going to be an Intel i5 6400 or an i5 4590 equivalent or greater. Now, of course, we know that AMD does have a CPU that is a very good CPU. It's an 8-core proc, about 3.5 gigahertz. I think it has the ability to run VR as well. I do believe. I haven't looked totally into that one. Memory of 8 gigabytes of RAM on the system board. Video output, free HDMI 1.3 output. On USB, it can be 3.0 or 2.0 or 3, whatever. Okay? This very well could mean that the AMD RX 480 is inside that machine. The reason why is because if the video card is the only one that's viable, I mean the R9 390 is about a $300 chip, so that's the only thing I can think of that's an industry-leading chip, and it falls in the realm of about $200 for the RX 480. The video did come out not too long ago. Matter of fact, I think it came out on the 29th. All games and apps run smoothly on these applications, and most VR developers target these specifications for their content. If you're building a PC or upgrading your PC for VR, in this case it'd be the Nintendo NX, the above specifications must be met. So does this mean that they finally listened to the developers? Does my previous video hold water about how many third parties may have jumped on board? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, please. That'd be awesome. I honestly don't think the R9 390 is on the Nintendo RX, and that's because it may have been a leading factor at the time, but the price for that card is $300 or higher, as I stated before, depending on the configuration. And that's probably even the lowest card. I did take a look at the performance of the 480, and while it can do 4K gaming very well, it can do 1080p at a definite 60 frames per second, or much better. In some instances, it can do a little better than 60 frames per second in a slightly higher resolution, such as 2560 by 1440. But my other thing is, will the supplemental computing device offset the lack of power? Like basically, if it can't run 4K now, will the supplemental computing device offset that and be able to do 4K in the near future? We've seen a possible preview of how Razer, I believe it's a Razer computer, plugs into another video card encased in its own casing. Therefore, we might be able to expect upgrades to the current system in the form of how strong you want it to be. That'd be very cool for Nintendo. Hey, Nintendo has the upgrade system for $100, and this will add a graphic capability. That would be pretty cool. Like if they were able to give you like these units, and was able to, basically sell you in the near future or something like a separate type video card or whatever that you can plug into as a supplemental computing device and add more power. But that's enough about that. So what I'm thinking is that it will be on the par with the current generation systems or slightly better. Why is this important? Well, because you want the games to just port over. If they are looking at VR and they have the core technology built in the system, then that means VR games can be ported over at a later date. Portability is the number one thing that third-party supporters do look at. If the system is easily portable, more third-party developers will certainly jump onto the Nintendo bandwagon, and I'm fairly certain that they will boost Nintendo back into stardom, because we cannot deny Nintendo has great first-party games, and they really do. But it's certainly not enough to hold them over, and I do kind of agree with a lot of people were saying about that. But if they have the specs talked about in this segment, and portability is not a problem, they will once again, I think, have a great system. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. I would appreciate that once again. And I think that'll do it for this part of the segment. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Please hit the subscribe button down below. I would appreciate that too. And I will see you in the near future. Peace out. Thanks.